Richard McCorkindale. And I forgot my reading glasses. God darn me. Darn it. Forgot my reading glasses. How you doing? How you doing, Richard? Be right back. I'm going to go get my reading glasses. Hello, two Richard McCorkindales in the room. Oh no, he just talked twice. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to get in. He's not dead yet. All right. Technology. 49er, hello. Welcome to the live chat. This is going to be a relatively quick one. It's what us guys in the industry call a quickie. Let's take a look at what we got here. '49er. Yeah, Rock and Rod. I had to go get my reading glasses. The text that you're typing right now. At first, I can read it, and then my eyes get fatigued. And it's like, whew. But that screen's about 2 feet away, so it just takes a while. You know, my eyes start to get a little tired. I2 Mask, thank you so much. Pumpkin Face, how's it going? John Creamy Simini. What's good? All right, Simini. Yeah, picked up a little more silver the other day. Awesome. Gray fur, 1 gold. I'm digging it. Steve O, hey. Eve or Ive, 1972. Work's been busier than I thought it would be. I'm very curious if you're allowed to tell me, John, what kind of industry are you in, without giving away, being OPSEC oriented. Vegas Stacker, hello from Vegas. Hey, I'm curious, how are the casinos doing? Are they opened up? And is it kind of weird going into the casinos? I'm curious. I went out to dinner last night with the wife. We went to a Mexican restaurant. It's the first time we were able to get into a restaurant and sit down, and everybody was wearing masks. They got almost like the bank tellers now. It looks like bulletproof partition around the register. It's getting crazy out there, and every other table was unoccupied. Other than that, we had a great dinner. It was a little weird that our server came with black rubber gloves. Actually, they were more like latex gloves, surgical, but they were black. And the whole mask was just kind of odd. I'm a truck driver out of New Hampshire, been back to work. Well, that's good, man. You're busier. That means the industry is picking up, which means more is being sold. That's awesome. Fear and ignorance have become the virtues of today. I agree. Fear of what is being heard on the television. And I think I mentioned this many times. People have been trained, brainwashed to believe if they hear it on TV, it's got to be the truth. After all, it's illegal. It's false advertising. It's false this and that. Oh no. Oh no. Is a little too long for me. I hope you don't mind just OT. Stephen Parsons. I don't understand what you're saying because I'll read it to you. Maybe another overtaxed taxpayer is a little too long for me. I hope you don't mind just OT. I don't know what you mean. Stephen Parsons in the house. Thank you. What a fancy experience. Hey, Shaded. Yeah. I bet you all those people have been vandalized. And you do know after they run out of businesses, they're moving to homes. They're moving into I don't know, housing developments. What more can anybody do? The cops can't do nothing. Housing developments would be next when they run out of homes to loot from. So, oh, I see. He's calling me OT instead of the whole overtime. Hey, absolutely. You call me whatever the hell you want. So the suburbs are next. Suburbs are next if this doesn't stop. And luck would have it, half of our states are anti-guns. Good luck with that one. Let me know how that works out with you at the end. Really. Blue Rose in the house. Thank you so much. So let me get on with a little information about silver. Gold is actually sitting at 1750.6 an ounce at $1,715.60 per ounce. It's up about $16 for the day. Silver is actually holding its own. It was where its resting place was mid 14s. You know what I mean? It would spike and always come down to that mid 14s. I think it's found a new resting place, and that's good. And that's $17.65 after it's been down 21 cents for the day. So that's pretty decent. Looking at coinmarket.cap, so Bitcoin is up, and it's up to almost 10,000 actually. Well, not quite. It's 9,778. All right, who's counting? Ethereum's 244. Down to Litecoin, it's 45.95. And it's so fortunate, I got most of my Litecoin right around the $36 to $39 range. So I'm really happy with the crypto market's doing, despite of the negativity behind it. And then my two favorite ones, let's move on to Digibyte and THETA. THETA is actually down, but it's still found a new resting area as well. Its resting area used to be right around the 13-cent range. It's found a new resting area. It's at 25 cents. And again, I got most of mine around the 9 to 13-cent range, so I'm really happy with that. Digibyte as well, it found a new resting area, and that's higher than it used to be as well. So Digibyte's resting area used to be right around the 0.09 cent, just under 1 penny. It's now at we'll call it 1.6 cents. So that's a nickel change. And if you have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, 400,000 Digibyte, you got a nice chunk of profit there. Okay, so we can talk a little bit about what's going on in the news. I don't need to talk to. You've all seen it. So a few people, we're talking we're talking at work, and one thing I wanted to talk about was, and a lot of people, if guilty, are seeing only what the news tells them to see. Case in point, the news told us 2 Buffalo police officers shoved an old man who fell to the ground, hurt his back of his head, and was bleeding on the sidewalk. We all saw that. But the news reported it just like I just recited it. And many people who I know, looked at the news and said, yep, that's what happened. I instinctively saw something completely different. And once I pointed it out, all the people agreed with me. The old man, first of all, was 6 foot tall, if not taller. The mayor came out and already established him as a repeat offender, an activist. Just before the shove, you see him reaching towards the officer's gun belt. Now, regardless what was on that gun belt or what was on that side, you don't do that to an officer, especially when the officer is on high alert. Yes, I'm taking the defense of the officer here, because if you look at the video, you'll see something completely different if you take your time and stop listening to the news. The news tells you what to think. I'm telling you not to think what the news tells you. Now think from the officer's mind perspective. Things are being thrown at them. They're being cussed at, yelled at. Their attention is on high alert. Even the smallest action could possibly be a threat. They've been told to go home, yet one person walks towards the officers, ignoring all warning. This person walks up to an officer, a group of officers who are dressed up in gear, riot gear. And that ought to tell you the mindset of the old person. First of all, this person then reaches for the gun belt. The officer's already on high alert, in formation that must be maintained. Just like flying a jet fighter, you need to maintain formation. The cop, looking at everything, feels something towards his belt and shoves. Unfortunately, this man, who's been also identified as an agitator, fell to the ground, hit his head. That's unfortunately what happened. You don't reach up to an officer, especially one that's already on high alert, reaching for his gun belt. Now the news now has seen this and now is reporting their news slightly different. The news is claiming, no, he found a helmet and it was just returning the helmet. However, the helmet was in his hand like this because it was about the size of a motorcycle helmet. And he reached with the other hand. How do you explain that? Reaching with the other hand towards the gun belt, gets shoved down to the ground, and he's bleeding. Another thing that the news did not tell you what happened, and it was clearly there on camera, but nobody saw it because they were told what to think, the news media outlets. The officer who did the shoving immediately broke formation, circled around, and went like this. He kind of shook his head like he felt bad. I don't think he raised his hand. He did circle around and did one of these numbers like, oh, what did I do? He was then slightly pushed from behind by his commander, told to keep formation. The commander moved up, and then you could see him radioing for help. News doesn't tell you that. The officer felt bad, circled around after breaking formation. I urge you all to take a second look at that video, as the news is not reporting it correctly. Take your time, watch it. I'm certain it's on YouTube. Repeat and rinse. Keep doing it over and over until you see everything. And then go back to the news and see how they're articulating what you should think. Don't trust your own eyesight. Don't trust your own feelings. Trust us. We'll do all the seeing and thinking for you. Michael Anderson, 5 grams of gold coming soon. Congratulations. Vegas Stacker Strip is very slow and half of it is an open. Local casinos doing all right. I still think it would be weird going into a casino and everybody's freaking got their mask on. You got freaking plastic partitions along all the gambling areas. Example, you sit down to play poker and this freaking, you got to reach under the plastic partition to play. That would suck. I also started a Coinbase account, Michael Anderson. Thank you so much. If that don't show that the police brutality is a problem in this country, then you don't get the message. Well, I get the message. It seems like 9 out of 10 times the officer is in the right. Now, the knee situation, the officer was not in the right. Definitely not in the right. Yes, and those, John Cimini, those officers do deserve to be charged. I'm happy that they are charged because there's definitely bad officers there. But I think the majority of them are good officers. I'm Mike Sears. I'm not really a fan of rare currency because then I would have to think too much. And I'm not into thinking. I don't want to know. I just collect, silver. Um, so yeah, it's not a political thing. I'm not Republican and I'm not a Democrat. So those who say, "Oh, you're just you know um, taking the Republican standpoint," that's incorrect. I think when you're neither one, you're able to look at it a little bit more. Um, I don't know. You can see more. Example was the officer who pushed down that old man. And by the way, that old man was about 240 pounds. He was no small old man. Close enough to cause damage by a punch, but you don't reach for an officer's gun belt. And those folks who are into this Black Lives Matter can care less about justifications. I'll go down the pike here. How about graded gold and silver coins? Again, too much thinking for me. I don't know anything about the grading system. I know there's the 69 and the 70. I just collect gold and I just collect silver. That's what I'm into. And there's nothing wrong though with collecting graded coins, numismatic coins and whatnot, or rare coins. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what I'm into or not into. Um, John G in the house. There's no law against love and respect. Absolutely not. I think everybody should be respecting one another, and that's why my room is open to anybody who's respectful to us. Let me go down the line, see who's in here. Um, Tony, 1915 in the house. Blue Rose, I already mentioned you. Thank you, though, again for stopping by. Silver Miner, 5 ounces. Good to see and hear you again. Thank you so much. I'm feeling actually a lot better. Gray Fur, notice that I'm not coughing as much. That's because the mesquite trees are not flowering and the orange blossoms are not flowering next door any longer. Rock and Rod, I'm a finished carpenter. I haven't had any downtime at all. That's awesome. And you know what I noticed? Home Depot and Lowe's are freaking off the chain busy now. Seaway 44, thank you so much. Pristine Green, yo. Prepped and protected. Yeah, again, and I hate dwelling on this, but I think people lack critical thinking anymore. It's amazing how, and I don't want to compartmentalize everything, but for the most part, see, the word is most part. Many people won't hear me say that. For the most part, the people who are claiming racism are in Democrat-run cities. And when you take a look at the government within those cities, many times they're being run by fellow Black government folks. And they're not doing what they promised. And in order to hide their faults, they blame an outside force. Well, it's the federal government. It's not me. But wait a second. You've been in office for how long? Why is it that way? You know what I mean? You've got people running for office right now, presidency, promising to fix racism for once and for all. But yet these folks have been in office for 40 some odd years. And yet the people who are going to vote for them again, we're going to vote for him because he just said the right thing. Nancy Pelosi, 40 something years. Chucky Schumer, 40 something years. Joe Biden, 40 something years, saying the same thing every election. I think that's where the problem lies. They keep putting their trust in the same folks, and they need to know who's running what. Super U68. Thank you so much for being here. Mr. Android, hey, Overtax, check out Zequila. I might do that, but things are tight. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to buy every recommendation also. Let's just say you have $100 and you got 100 recommendations. That means you get $1 for each recommendation. Now let's say one of those $100 recommendations, I'm sorry, one of those 100 recommendations hits 1,000. Okay, you got $1,000. Whoop you do. You can blow that in a weekend. But if you really do your research with your investments, you can pick the top 10 perhaps and put a little bit more money, $100 into 10. Now, if one of them hits it big, you've made a significant amount of more money. You see what I'm saying? So it's really hard to buy everybody's recommendation. And I'm hearing good things about Zakia, whatever it's called. I'm hearing good things about Chainlink also. It's so hard to come up with the money and put a good amount into each investment in case it pays off. It really is. So Silver Junkie, why is it American Silver Eagles like $10 over spot? Can you explain? Yes, because that's what the market will bear. That is what people are willing to pay. If nobody bought them at $10, and I think $10 might be a little bit on the exaggerated side. I think it's more like $8. Well, all right, we'll call it 10. If no one paid $10, they wouldn't charge $10. That's why. The market gets what it can bear. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Blue Rose, I'm not experiencing any buffering on my end. I don't know what to say. I can turn off another internet device here. Maybe that'll help, right? So let's turn the internet off on this tablet. Maybe that'll help you a little bit. I don't know. Tony, 915. Someone tries to rob or burn down my home. Fill them with lead. Call the police last. Edgewater Heating, can't bring myself to invest in crypto. And I understand that. I certainly understand that. And nothing wrong with that. You got to do what's right for you. Because I can be the idiot that loses everything. Right? No doubt about it. I'm just some schmuck on YouTube. Do what's good for you. What is the best crypto exchange? So yeah, you're going to be battling, Chris, high fees. The best crypto exchanges, so no exchange has every crypto you want. So the best exchange obviously would be reputation of the exchange, but the exchange that has what you want. Exodus is a good exchange. It's also a wallet. What else? Let me get to my desktop right here. So there's Exodus, there's Gemini, and Binance are my 3 favorites for now. Alrighty? And between the 3 of those, I can pretty much buy anything I'm interested in. So you got to find what you're interested in and go to that exchange. But Binance, Exodus, and what did I say? Binance, Exodus, and fudge. What did I say? Binance, Exodus, and holy crap! Rewind the video. I'm tired. Silver Junkie, thank you. John Sinini again, thank you. New Orleans, 5 grams of gold. Okay, I already read that. If that don't show the police brutality, that's Black Steel, the new Ms. Man. Thank you so much though for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Seaway 44, for being my moderator. I almost want to address this comment, but I got a feeling it's pushing the envelope here. Dazed and Confused Stacker, thank you so much. Mike Sears, what are your thoughts on real currency? I already discussed that. Tony Lama, what happened now? Nothing, Tony. Glad for you to stop by. Thank you so much. Chris Dennison, looters are George Soros and Clinton Foundation. I have no doubt about it. Dylan doing things crazy. How these Netflix movies made, who knows when, are connected to current events. Okay. Little Red Pony, somebody's been with me a long time. Thank you so much, Little Red Pony. Let's see. God, I just freaking lost my space. With junk silver, I prefer 90%. Yep. Lord Humongous, thank you so much. Leftist Marxist, scam, don't be a dope to, okay. I appreciate your opinion, and I actually agree with you. I just didn't want to read it and offend anybody. Community-based policing. Okay, so end the police. Okay, I see what you're saying, and again, we can disagree and still be friends. You want to end the police and let the community do its own policing. Okay. Well, I'm willing to let a city experiment with that and see how it goes, and they can be a barometer for how the rest of the nation can go. I have no problem with that. Your city, do what you want. I just hope that community policing knows forensics and knows everything that has to do with policing. You know what I mean? That's all I suggest, is that community policing get educated. But then now you really have police officers with just a different name, and it's going to be called community policing. You know what I mean? So again, we can disagree and still be friends, but I also agree that yes, if a city wants to try it out, let them. I hope it ain't my city. That's all I can say. If it works for them, then I'd be a little bit more open to it. You know what I mean? But something like that, you need a good few years of experimenting. That's just of my opinion. Eddie D. Dude, you don't know, Eddie D. I need a nice vacation. Do I look that shitty though? Eddie D, do I really look that bad? Off-grid power, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We got felonious Bitcoin in the house. Thank you so much. I'm just reading your comment. That's why I'm pausing. Please advise your top 3 cryptos to invest in. My preference, in this order: THETA, Digibyte, and Bitcoin. How's that one? Oh, by the way, put a couple in the tip jar. Oh, and just for disclaimer, that was not financial advice. I take no liability in my advice. Please purchase your gold, your silver, and cryptos at your own risk. Okay, XRP, I'm hearing good things too, but again, it comes down to my finances. Right now, I'm only investing in about 5 because I can put a larger chunk into those 5. And if one of them pays off, I'm a millionaire. However, if I put the same budget into 100, I'm putting less into each one. You get my point? And if one of them pays off, all right, maybe I made $1,000. I can blow that in a weekend. No, I'm reaching for that freaking golden ring of freedom, of financial independence. And if I fail, I fail. That's all there is to it. But I'm not going to invest in a way where I'm guaranteed never to get that golden ring, if you know what I mean. Maynard Wellman, I'm so happy to see you here. He's a friend of mine. Morgan Sinclair, thank you very much for being here. I agree with you. Let me work backwards. I think I said hello to everybody. Dom C from Chicago, thank you. OWAS, Yum Yumayan. I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce that. OWAIS. Humayan. I'm sorry. I do welcome you here. And if I mispronounce anybody's name, it's not me being sarcastic or, it's just I have a hard time with some names. Again, Morgan, thank you so much, Morgan Sinclair and Off Grid Power. Dom C's from Chicago. I need to get some real Chicago pizza one of these days. Real. I'm a New Yorker, and I swear New York pizza is the best. However, I gotta compare it with some Chicago before I can make that claim. The witness, community policing is an idiot idea according to him. John G. ABC, Minneapolis looks like Iraq 2005. Yeah, there's your police force, by the way. A gang. Richard Marino, are you a cop? Why don't we do a guessing game one day on what you do for a living? I don't do much of anything, Ricardo. I just go to work like everybody else. I don't see its importance. Big K Rouge, gold, silver, and more. Thank you so much. Okay, Soy MZ. Thoughts on placing online bets on Trump to win the election? Again, I'm neither Republican nor Democrat, and I don't gamble. I go to Vegas and I don't gamble. I enjoy actually going to Vegas, but I'm just not a gambler. I've never won anything in my life, never. So I wouldn't bet, but a gentleman's bet where there's no wager, I say he's got a 95% chance of winning. And like when Hillary was in, every flipping poll had her not only winning, but winning by a large margin, or what they called it, a landslide at the time. Do you still believe those polls that Joe Biden is in the lead? Honestly, do you still believe the same? And many people do. Year after year after year after year, those polls are wrong and are lying, meant to deceive you, meant to think you're on the losing end. And most people want to be on the winning end and use those polls. Oh, I'm all by myself. Nobody's voting for my man. God, those other people who are the polls are saying those guys must be right. My own mental feelings, my heart, my intuition must be wrong. I'm going to go. That's what polls are for, to mess with your mind. Again, year after year after year, polls have lied, and yet the people still believe them. Remember Clinton. Just keep remembering Clinton and how those polls were wrong. Cheap laugh Kennedy. SLQ quarter. Cool. China going boom. Daniel Roberts, thank you so much for being here. Do a review on Krios coin sometime. I don't even own any Krios coin. And actually, Sobriety Television, that's the first time I ever heard of it. So I couldn't do an honest review if you paid me to. Perhaps somebody else could, though. JB Coin, that and friend, 2 Frank Silvers, we stole the Walking Liberty halves from them. Okay. Rooster Cogburn. Well, today's America, everything is upside down now. Biden should win in a landslide. Absolutely. And if you listen to the polls, there's a 100% chance he's going to win. You know what I think is going to go on? I think they're going to play a scam. He's going to pick a VP. They're pushing him because they don't think he's going to live much longer. He goes kapoop. The VP becomes president. That's the scam I think they're going to try to pull on us. Get a president and that nobody would ever vote for. All righty then. What do you think of Dogecoin? Again, don't own it. Don't know anything about it. Couldn't give you an honest review if you paid me. Rand Freeman, Chinese troops are not amassing in Canada. You're a lunatic. I never said that. Homestead baby, John G. Rigged markets. Biden has Alzheimer's. He has something. He really does. But the fact of the matter is, even if he didn't, he's been in office 40 some odd years and hasn't done one thing he promised in the 40 some odd years. Even for communities that have the same political party in the mayor's office, in the government's office, on the city council, all Democrats, even those cities have not been able to achieve what they're promising their citizens. How is that possible unless there is deception going on? Oh, I got you, Rand Friedman. Thank you so much. 63, 64 people. Wow. I remember the days when I used to get 200 people in a chat room. Man, people just don't like politics. Back then, I admit I was just 100% silver, 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 silver. But as I was talking, I spoke to Thelonious Bitcoin on the telephone once. And as I tried to explain to him, I can tell you about this battery charger only so many times before I run out of things to tell you about it. And there's some other interesting things that are going on in the world. And why do I choose politics? Again, I'm neither Republican nor Democrat, but why do I choose politics? Because we got to know why we're stacking gold. We got to know why we're putting money aside and not cash aside. We got to know why we're prepping and storing food and guns and ammo. You got to know why. Otherwise, you're just a freaking robot doing what some schmuck says on YouTube. I can preach all day long to go out and buy gold and silver. And if you just follow that, you're a schmuck yourself for believing me. You got to know why. There's got to be a reason why you do something, something to motivate you. And yes, you should be buying gold and silver. You should be buying guns and ammo. You should be buying food that you can store on your shelves. I've proven that when the coronavirus first hit, you couldn't find shit on the shelves. Toilet paper, everything. You got to know why. It's not just good enough that you buy gold and silver, because then you're just a robot, okay? Can I get an amen? I go off on tangents sometimes. That's just my personality, you know. It just is. My mind just goes in one direction until it hits a speed bump. Daniel Roberts, did you hear government is having meetings about the next stimulus being sent in Bitcoin? I welcome it. You know what happens to Bitcoin if that happens? To the moon, Alice. I didn't receive a stimulus. They said everybody in the United States was receiving one within my pay grade and whatnot. I've not received one yet. Even called the tax man. Yep, my accountant. Yeah, you should be receiving it. To this day, you've never received one. Wes, amen. ABC, amen. Felonius, Bitcoin. Thank you so much. Big oily guy. Man, I remember you. Biden sniffed me the wrong way. Big oily guy. Thank you so much for being here. Little Red Pony, thank you for buying that silver. That's awesome. I mean, I'm glad you did that. You've been a subscriber for a long time. I'm curious, when did you start buying silver? I'm just curious. Adrian Branham, thank you so much. Schmucker, schmuck. Is schmucka like a Hebrew or a Jewish word? I don't know. You call somebody a schmuck, they're a dummy, a moron, a loser. I don't know what the term really means. John G in the house. Give me seeds, no free money. John G. So yeah, I try to grow stuff, and it's all in the soil. I think, I think what's more important is teaching people about soil, because I couldn't grow squat. I mean, I grew a couple of carrots, I grew a couple of tomatoes that seemed undersized, and bell peppers that seemed undersized. You know, I would love to have a neighbor who really knew how to grow food. I love keeping people with knowledge in my circle. I just feed off of them like a sponge. I do. I love it. Silver Cobra, thank you so much. No, I didn't get no money, Felonius. Not a freaking nickel. Not a nickel. You know what I was going to do? I was going to invest it. Be like, thank you, government. Now I'm going to turn this $1,200 into something more. When I go silent, I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, Oasis Humyan, you said the same thing like 4 times. Maker coin hit up to $1,000 AU2 in the last 3 days. That's awesome. I don't know anything about the coin, so I can't give you any thoughts on it. I really don't know anything about it, but I'm glad. I hope you have some. I really do. I hope you have some. Wes, I already mentioned I never show off my full stack. A gentleman does not show and tell. I don't mind taking out a few 100 ounces every now and then to show them, but really, it serves no purpose. Big K Rouge, time to start another gold or silver fund. I'm thinking of what coin I want. There's so many freaking nice, highly detailed silver coins out there, just mind blowing. I gotta look and see what I want. I still have not met my silver gold, by the way. Silver goal. I have not met that, by the way. You need to work castings and cow manure. Yeah, I bet. And I bought some in the store and still couldn't use it. They had the worm cat castings and whatnot, but I really believe I think each type of vegetable or each type of fruit needs its own unique soil. And that's where my knowledge ends. And without the proper soil, you ain't growing squat. Any moron can water, but if the soil ain't right, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got the silver Cougarans, and you know what? I find them to be okay, really, when you compare them against some of the generic rounds that are coming out that are just stunning. Silver Cougarans, they're nice. Don't get me wrong. So, big oily guy, what's your silver goal? See, that's giving away my. That'll kind of give away my entire stack. Don't want to do that, if you know what I mean. I can say this. I'm about 600 ounces, maybe 500 ounces from my goal. How is that one? And after that, boom, I think I'm done with silver. However, the closer I get to that gold, let me say it again, the closer I get to my goal, the more gold I'm going to be buying also, because I kind of want to start weaning off of silver and getting some gold is what I'm trying to say. Whew, that was a mouthful. Let's see, who else is here? Dan K in the house. The kookaburras are nice, but aren't they a little bit under an ounce? Someone told me, and I think I have a couple of kookaburras actually, and I can't remember. I think they were like 0.9 of an ounce, not a full ounce. The coin was slightly smaller. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Nice coin. I think I have about 3 of them, 4 of them. Do. How many gold ounces I got? I do not even own a full ounce of gold. I don't. I think I am about a half an ounce when I combined everything. And I was very fortunate. You know, I am also guilty. I've been gifted a couple of 10th ounces and a couple of gram bars. I put them in the safe. A couple of years go by. I forgot I even had them. And here I was. I put up my gold challenge. I'm buying my first gold coin. I open up the safe, and there's four other or three other coins in there. Three other coins. That's a schmuck. And then I was called out on it. Hey, dude, I sent you a gold coin. I go in there and, oh, shit. How embarrassing. How humiliating. So, yeah, so I'm about a half an ounce. And then that's cool. I'm good. I'll do it on my own. I'm happy with the pace. I really do recommend people pay off their debt, though, before buying gold and silver. But if you could do it at the same time, don't buy gold and silver without paying off debt. You can do both of them at the same time, but not just gold and silver. And just take your time with your debt. Pay your debt off, and if you can do both at the same time, pay your debt off and get some silver, is my advice to a new person in debt. I do believe one day the silver and gold will really make some of us rich. Or if not rich, let's just say financially comfortable. How's that? I think that's a fair assessment on where gold and silver is going. I think that's more fair. To say it's going to make us rich, I think is an exaggeration. Okay? You heard it first. Sometimes I use words and I got to rethink what I said. No, not rich. I got 2 kilo gold bars. Bullshit. I call bullshit on Lord Humongous. No, if he says he's got it, I gotta believe him. You know, I that's pretty impressive. I can hold them for you though, if you like. I know they can be kind of heavy and cumbersome. If you like, I'll hold them for you. Yeah, you keep your wealth. But I think I think gold and silver is gonna go a bit, and I do mean a bit beyond our expectations. I really do believe that. Inheritance from his father. That's awesome. All right. So perhaps he did. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Freaking, I would love to see I would like to hold a kilo bar. I never held anything that big. In fact, I don't even think I ever held an ounce. Yes, I held one of my brother's ounces of gold. He has I forgot what he had, but I held it. And that's the only time I ever held an ounce. Eddie D, just get some gold fillings in your teeth every time you talk. You can show people real money. Felonious Bitcoin. He and I spoke. He's basically paid off his debt. If I am allowed to say that. Don't mean to share any information, and I'm really proud. When I look at somebody who's debt free, I'm a little envious. Little envious. He bought it in the 80s when gold was $250 an ounce. That's amazing. Anyway, folks, I'm going to take off. I really appreciate your time. I know time is our most valuable asset. So you take care. I'm off. Talk to you. I'll try to do another one. I'll try to do another one sometime this week. But you folks take care. And again, thank you so much. I'm very honored to have you here. Okay? Until next time.